Most people don't actually struggle with big expenses because they are too expensive. They struggle because those expenses arrive without preparation, which turns something predictable into something stressful. Think about the last time a large expense hit you. It might have been a car repair, an annual insurance bill, a holiday season, travel, or even a home-related issue. None of these are truly random. They happen on a cycle. But because they don't show up every single month, your system doesn't account for them consistently. And when your system doesn't account for something, it becomes a disruption when it appears. That disruption forces you into reaction mode. You move money around, you reduce savings, you delay progress, or you rely on credit just to handle something that could have been planned. That's the real issue. Not the expense itself, but the lack of preparation. Because when something is prepared for, it doesn't create stress. It becomes routine. It becomes expected. It becomes something your system handles automatically. That's what we're building today. We're not eliminating big expenses. We're removing their ability to disrupt your system. Because once they are built into your flow, they stop feeling large. They stop feeling unexpected. And they stop controlling your financial decisions. Step 1 is identifying your full range of non-monthly expenses with precision. Most people underestimate this step because they only think about the obvious categories like car repairs or holidays. But when you zoom out and look at a full year, you start to see a pattern of recurring, non-monthly costs that add up significantly. These include annual subscriptions, insurance renewals, gifts, travel, medical costs, home maintenance, technology upgrades, and even seasonal spending changes. The key here is not to be perfect, but to be thorough. You want a realistic map of your financial cycle over time. Once you have that, you assign estimated totals to each category. Even rough estimates are enough to create clarity. And that clarity is what shifts your mindset. Because now, instead of seeing these expenses as random, you see them as part of your normal financial structure. That alone changes how you approach them. You stop reacting and start preparing. And that preparation is what gives you control. Step 2 is converting those irregular expenses into predictable monthly allocations. This is where the system becomes actionable. Instead of waiting for a large expense to appear all at once, you break it down into smaller, consistent amounts. For example, if you know you'll spend $1,200 over the year on a category, it becomes $100 per month. This process smooths out your financial flow. It eliminates spikes and replaces them with stability. And stability is what reduces stress. Because now, you're not dealing with large, sudden impacts. You're managing small, consistent inputs. This also aligns your expenses with your income. Since your income is typically monthly or bi-weekly, your expenses should follow the same rhythm. That alignment is what makes your system feel balanced. And when your system feels balanced, it becomes easier to maintain over time. Step 3 is creating a dedicated space for these funds so they are protected from daily use. This is where structure reinforces behavior. If you leave this money in your main account, it will feel available, and eventually it will get used for something else. That's not a discipline issue. That's a system issue. So you create separation. This could be a separate savings account, a designated category, or even multiple sub-accounts, depending on how you prefer to organize things. The goal is clarity. When you see that money, you know exactly what it's for. It's not spending money. It's not savings for emergencies. It's reserved for planned, future expenses. And that distinction matters, because it prevents confusion and protects your progress. Step 4 is integrating this into your income flow so it happens automatically. Timing is critical here. The moment your income arrives, a portion should be allocated to these future expenses. This ensures consistency, because if you wait until later, you introduce risk. You might spend more than expected, or you might forget. Automation removes that risk. It ensures that preparation happens before spending begins. And that order is what protects your system. Because now, your priorities are handled first. And once they are handled, everything else becomes easier to manage. Step 5 is adjusting your perception of available money. This is one of the most important mindset shifts. Before this system, your account balance likely included money that was actually needed for future expenses. That created an illusion of availability. It made you feel like you had more to spend than you actually did. But now, that money is being redirected, which means your visible spending amount may decrease. That's not a loss. That's accuracy. You're now seeing your real financial position instead of an inflated version of it. And that clarity prevents overspending. Because now, every decision is based on what's truly available. Step 6 is maintaining and refining this system over time so it stays aligned with your life. Your estimates will improve as you track your expenses. New categories may appear. Others may become less relevant. That's normal. The goal is not perfection. The goal is alignment. You review your system periodically, adjust your numbers, and keep it current. This keeps your system flexible while maintaining structure. And that balance is what allows it to work long term. So your action for today is to identify your irregular expenses, break them into monthly amounts, separate the funds, and integrate the process into your system. Because once you do this, big expenses stop being stressful. They stop disrupting your progress. And they become just another part of your system working in the background. That's how you move from reactive to prepared. The daily yield. Because we're building real financial progress. One step at a time.